Hi friends, this is Caitlin. Welcome to my channel. Today, in honor of my final spooktacular collab card with Twiddlers Nook, I am sharing this beautiful, fun Halloween card. So these are the Twiddlers Nook products that I used. I love her little jars. This magnetic die holder is going to come in clutch with these honeybee stamps layering dies we're going to use. And I am obsessed with the glow-in-the-dark stars and moons shaker pieces, as well as the bats that we're going to use that coordinate and look so cute with the honeybee stamps layering layers bat. So this card is going to be featured in an Instagram hop. Amanda from Twiddlers Nook has been running a spooktacular hop all year. So on the 31st of every month from January to today, Halloween, there has been a hop over on Instagram. Today's the last one. There's some extra prizes. So I'm going to leave my post linked in the description for you. If you want to go hop along, that's great. And if hopping is not your favorite thing, you can just hang out with me while we make this super cute Halloween card. I cannot believe that it is Halloween. I am so happy and so sad at the same time. It's been a crazy month. It's been so much fun, but I'm not ready for it to be over. And you know what? I'm thinking about sprinkling in some more Halloween content all year round as well. So we'll see how that goes. I'm thinking 2025, there'll be some Halloween every month maybe. You guys let me know if you think that's fun or if that's too much. Am I pushing it too far? So I grabbed this double-sided paper. This one here with the spider webs and the stripes is from Honeybee Stamps as well. It's their Sweet and Spooky paper pad. I thought I was going to use the spider webs. I ended up using the stripes. I actually thought I was going to use both and put the spider webs inside, but it was too much pattern when I added the bat. So the stripy paper that you see, that's the full A2 sized 5.5 by 4.25 with the black layer inside. That's what we're going to use. That smaller spider web panel that I just put there, that's going to get saved for another project down the road. Then I started placing all of my layering dies from my perfect little magnetic die holder onto my white cardstock. This is from Pink and Main Ice Rink cardstock. I think it's 80 pound, but I'll double check that. And I'm just gonna hold all of those in place with some long pieces of washi tape. I also die cut the branch. I die cut the branch. We're not gonna end up using it. So I grabbed Merlot ink. This is from Catherine Pooler. It's so beautiful. It's not exactly the purple that I had in mind to coordinate with the spider webs, but it was so beautiful. I just kept going and I absolutely love how it turned out. I think it's really fun. I was inspired by the Honeybee Stamps packaging to go with something more purple and colorful. Theirs was a little more of a blue purple, where this is very much like a pinky purple. But it's so fun. And the way these layer, I had the guide that I showed you at the beginning right up on at the top of my desk so I could see it and get an idea of how everything was going to look, which pieces were going to layer together. And I built it as I went so that I could kind of gauge how my colors and layering were going. But basically, I went darkest to lightest, with the exception of the little center part that's going to go on the bridge of the nose at the end. So yeah, this was just so much fun. I added more shadows to the left-hand side of that first layer and then more to the right-hand side of the second layer. I made his little ears a different color pink. I grabbed Victorian Velvet, I think is what it's called. I'm trying to say less ums, I promise. I have found with these layering dies before, if I'm ink blending, I like to not leave white edges of my paper, even if the entire layer is going to get covered. So the one where I colored the ears pink, I added a little bit of the Merlot to the bottom of its head too, just because when you layer these all, if you can see white edges in between the layers, like how they're sandwiched, it just stands out to me, especially if you're using darker colors. So this layer was meant to be white. It's like his little white fur. So I took milled lavender distress ink and I added it just on the very tips of his little ear fuzz and his chest fur. And it's hard to see right now with how far it is down on my desk, but it looks so cute in person. It's just this like little purple tinted fuzz. And like I said, I just kept going lighter and lighter. So I wasn't applying more ink to my cardstock at this point. I was just using up the ink that was on my brush, doing the whole head and ears, and then just the face part again. Then this is the part where I said I brought in a little more of that depth for that little bridge of the nose. And again, that's how it was shown on the inspiration kind of layering guide. For his nose, I went in with E49 Copic marker. I wanted it super dark, and I'm going to use the same color for his little eyes. So cute. You could try to ink blend these if you want, but I found that coloring is much easier. And they were really easy to pop in to place, and there's score lines where all of these things go, which I always love that about honeybee stamps, layering. Lovely layers, that's what they're called. Lovely layer sets, is there's always score marks to kind of keep you on the right track. I used the pointy end of my little pick there to make sure that the eyes were tucked up where they should be. I think I put the fangs on like reverse, but they're still so cute. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I left them white, by the way. I kind of wish I had made the face just a hint darker, because then they would have popped more, but in person you can kind of see them better than on my camera. I added some white eye highlights, and then if it wants to focus, that is our sweet little bat. So cute. It's giving that like E70s vibe from Copic colors, which is one of my favorite combinations to color bats as well. So I grabbed this watercolor rectangle die stack set from My Favorite Things, because I thought if I cut my shaker opening on my black panel with it, it would look kind of jaggedy and like a cave. So I just kind of held it up over our gray panel with the bat to kind of see what size was going to work. I wanted to make sure that my bat fit with some space around it, so you would really be able to see the shaker pieces move. But I didn't want to leave it gray. I went for gray instead of that spider web because it was just too busy, and the light gray was just boring. So I decided to go in with Hickory Smoke and Black Soot Distress inks. I'm going in with the smoke first, kind of just creating a vignette kind of feel where it's a darker and an oval shape all the way around the edges, bringing that gray in pretty far, and then going back in with that Black Soot just right on the edges, kind of really darkening up the outer portion. You can see here too, I have a full stick Post-it note on my hand so that the sticky part is on my skin and the matte part, non-sticky part, is on my paper. And that just helps me to not have to worry about leaving fingerprints on my ink. I was checking back and forth, holding up my black frame just to make sure that enough of my color was peeking through. And then on the back of that frame, I'm going to go in with my Tombow mono adhesive and add my bat to the top and one side. And then I'm going to add more adhesive to the back of my bat. And we're going to apply a sheet of packaging that I have trimmed down to fit this panel. The frame and the gray panel are both 4 by 5 1/4. So we get just that skinny little striped mat. So once I had that packaging laid down, it was time to build our actual shaker. So to do that, I'm adding foam tape. This is my tried and true Pink and Main foam tape. I love her. I use her constantly. And I'm just going to make a frame all the way around that shaker that fits within that black outline. It ended up actually being the perfect size. And once I had removed all of my backing tape, I'm going to pour in some of my little clay bats and then some of my glow-in-the-dark stars and moons. And when I tell you that these glow, I mean they freaking glow. I'm going to show you at the end what they look like. They're so cool. I absolutely love them. So I put a lot. I put a good bit in there. And then I put my gray panel on to kind of seal it up, shaking everything around, making sure it's nice and sturdy. Then I added more tape runner to the back of my gray panel, and we're going to get that popped on to my stripes. I double checked just to make sure I didn't want the spider webs, and I definitely did not want them. So we went with the purple and white stripe, still so cute. And the reason that I put my bat a little to the right was because I knew I was going to bring in a big old sentiment to go on the bottom left. So it's all going to balance out. I did want to change it up. And so instead of going super blatant Halloween, I went with the big kindness stamp set that I have from Honeybee, and I have the coordinating dies. So I went with Hey Girl, and I stamped it with the sugared lavender from Catherine Pooler. And on the gray cardstock, it pulled darker. So it worked really well with that Merlot on the bat. Just kind of, you can tell it's purple. It doesn't look black, but it's a good purple. They just combine really well. And for some reason, I wasn't loving the gray and purple by itself. So what I did was cut a second die cut of those letters without stamping anything. And we're going to stack them just a tiny bit offset. So that way we get that tiny little white highlight. And I think it picks up the white in the moons and stars, as well as the white on our stripe, like frame background. And that made it pop and brought everything together for me. So I added that with my liquid glue and just kind of held it in place. And then it was still looking too plain. So the last little step I did that I think really does make it balance and fit in my head, again, with kind of balancing out my white space placement so that there's multiple little bits of white here and there through the card. I went in with a gel pen and added little stitches. And I just love how this card looks. It's so much fun. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. You know, Halloween is my favorite. I'm so excited to have been able to spend so many videos this month with you. And here it is glowing. She's a superstar. In the full dark, it looks even brighter. But thank you so much for coming to hang out with me. Please check down in the link below for that Instagram hop and go support Amanda. I love you guys so much. Happy Halloween, and I will see you back here soon. Until next time, guys, happy crafting.